Is that your P&L, or are you just happy to see me? Good morning, folks. Welcome back. Welcome back. It is Saturday, ICT Shotgun Saturday, and I'm a little bit out of practice here. Usually I come in firing on all cylinders and whatnot. I have either a chip on my shoulder or an agenda to get through. So admittedly, I have a lot of things going on this weekend and next weekend that has my mind preoccupied. But I'll tell you about that after we get through those weeks. It's nothing bad. It's all good stuff. It's all family oriented. But that was another reason why I was a little late here. I was supposed to be here at 8:30. I was tardy by the looks of things. I was about 9 minutes or so late. But that's what you get sometimes, right? When it's free, you got to be a little bit more flexible. So I have some bullet points that I want to cover today. And I want to start off with, why are you here? Like, why do you come to my Twitter page? Why do you come to my YouTube page? Why do you listen to my lectures? Is it out of just morbid curiosity because you've seen other people talk about me? You want to see, okay, is it really the train wreck, the car crash that everybody wants to slop and rubberneck and see, hey, look, what's going on there? Is there any carnage, any kind of blood loss? Chances are you probably found your way here on those premises and found out that there's a little bit more going on than what other people like to say. Or maybe it's because you want to be a part of a community, a like-minded hive mentality. That's kind of like what I'm trying to foster with this community. I want everyone to kind of like think independently and unique within the realm of their own personal model. And the discovery of that model is found in the mentoring and the lecturing. But these discussions, these things that I do on Twitter Spaces where I'm not monetized, there are no ads playing. You're getting right from the heart, right from the trenches, real world experience, the things that you're going to battle with most. And it's my endeavor to try to pull your attention away from what you think is most paramount, which is the buy and sell, get me in, get me out. Where do I put my stop loss? Which fair value gap do I use? What order block do I use? And those things are secondary. And I know it sounds like it can't be true, but it is. And I want you to think about how many things I've taught, new concepts, new approaches to things that would otherwise be a hindrance to an average trader. And then thinking about what have you done with it? See, there's this growing community within this community that usually breaks off and creates this small little factions of little sub communities and collection of like-minded individuals. And I don't have anything against that. Like, I mean, for me to say that would be in opposition to growth and finding your own niche and your own way in this industry. I'm just a conduit. Okay. If I was a cult leader, in the sense that most people like to say I am, I wouldn't want anybody else to take your attention away and try to teach you something better. Because if there was something better, I would point to it. But I'm teaching you what I created. These are my concepts, and no one else is going to teach it to you better. And when I'm done in November, you're welcome to go and do whatever you want to do. And if you want to start your own little communities, by all means, have at it. I'm certainly not going to try to stand in your way. But the folks that are here that try to learn, what have you done with it so far? For some of you, it's like the guy you see on the beach with the little metal detector and the headphones. He's waving that thing across the beach, the sandy beaches. I watched a couple of these guys doing it. In fact, one of them was actually in the water down in Clearwater in Florida when we were down there. And by the way, it feels awfully cold in Maryland now after being down there, coming back up here. I love the cold, but today this feels unseasonably cold. which kind of feels weird this close to June. But some of you feel like you're out there with this metal detector trying to find the lost piece of the ICT puzzle. And we'll talk more about that later in this presentation. But I just want to be a little gentle reminder that what you're here for, what was the original reason for you to come to me seeking whatever it is that you sought? What was that driving passion that brought you here? And how have you been distracted? Is it things at work? Is it things at home? I've read some tweets from individuals saying that their spouse were not in support of what they're doing. And it won't matter if I were to talk to them individually and say, hey, look, I promise you, I'm going to get your husband or your wife, your significant other, your partner on the path of profitability. Scouts honor, I promise. They won't believe it. And this is kind of like what I was tweeting yesterday. A couple of the fellows that are out there, they're, in my opinion, doing something really cool. I like what they're doing. And I joined their live stream on YouTube, and I shared the link. And I prompted them to talk about certain things that I wanted to more or less segue into this weekend somehow and just be part of the presentation. But I think it's going to be predominantly 90% of it. And when you first come to someone to learn a skill, whether it be trading, whether it be a sports, event or something, like a golfer wanting to learn how to drive a golf ball better or putt better, or a shooter, okay, you want to learn how to shoot better. And you come there to that teacher, that person that wants to offer their experience to you. And you come to them many times with these preconceived notions that you know how you should be taught. So you already have in your mind what it is that this educator should or should not do. And then if it doesn't meet that expectation that you have, admittedly, you'd have to admit that you're coming to that person in a state of ignorance. You have no idea what you're supposed to be doing, but you're holding on to this idea that you know how you should be taught. When you don't know the subject matter, you're the student. You're not even the student yet. You're just coming there with a spirit of expectation. And some of you come with a spirit of entitlement, thinking that it's owed to you faster, like somehow that you're supposed to be ushered to the front of the line ahead of everyone else that's been working very hard diligently to try to learn the skill set. And sometimes because of either cultural barriers or language barriers, I may not be able to properly articulate what it is that is necessary for you to understand something. In that regard, that's what makes me not a good mentor. Okay. And that's why I say I'm not the best mentor. But the things I'm teaching, I often pray that I find a way to get that message that I'm trying to talk about to and through all of you. And this isn't probably the best medium to do it because you're only going to hear me in my native tongue, which is English. And sometimes it's not that good. Sometimes I talk in words that aren't all that refined. And sometimes I use colorful words that I'm not proud of, but I'm trying to do my best most times, like I am today. I'm trying to be very balanced because this is a topic that in my mind needs to be reminded constantly throughout your progress. And because there's a new influx of new students coming to me all the time, it's important for you to come in with the right mindset and not lose sight of what you came here for. You should be here for one reason only: to learn how to make money. That's it. If a secondary supporting reason is that you want to be amongst other people that are doing what you're doing and see their growth, see their concerns, see the barriers, the speed bumps that they have to go through. So that way it reminds you that it's not just you that's going through it. It's everyone goes through this same. I went through it. And most like everything else I've ever taught, there's going to be this point in which when you're listening to me, or watching me do executions or talking about what the market's going to do, you'll have selective hearing because you're coming to me with your preconceived notions about what it is that you need. So you think you need to know this or that, and then you'll be understanding better when you're sitting down in front of the charts live. And that is an illusion. I felt that way as a young man. I felt that, all I had to do was read a few books and I'd figure it out. Not knowing that I was going to be a huge barrier like you are and like everybody else that does this. That 7-pound universe that's in between your ears, that brain, has a wonderful, ability to present distractions or reasons not to do certain things or follow rules. And I talked about a mindset that many people have but won't admit to it. And the ones that try to resist it while learning how to trade, they're not going to be successful. And that trait is needing to be right. I don't open my comment section up in newer videos on my YouTube channel because it's mostly a sugar fest. Okay. And it honestly, from the outside, if I was looking at my channel, I would swear up and down that those comments, most of them would be fabricated, like created from an outside third party source that would be making me look like I'm just loved. And while I appreciate that, you're welcome to do that on Twitter. I mean, I'm not going to high five every one of them, but if it's meaningful to me and it touches me, I'll heart it. But invariably, I'll get the stragglers that come through my comment section. One came through the other day, and his comment was, and listen closely because this is your 5 minutes of fame. He says to me, I'm assuming it's a guy, I don't know. He says, I hate your videos. They seem to be only you making yourself sound right. Well, it's not about being right, but if I call the market and it happens, what else do you call that? It's accurate, right? And the whole premise behind that YouTube channel and me talking to you right now is for you to learn how to do this correctly. But your goal is not to be right. Your goal is to be profitable because you can be incorrect. I've been incorrect. You watched me do 2 trades this week. And while there were partial profits taken, the balance was stopped out in the black. It means they didn't get it stopped out with a loss, but they were still stopped out nonetheless. Was I right? No. Was the outcome favorable? Yes. In some people's eyes would say, no, you failed because you thought that it was going to go up there. But if they would have had that account and that money transaction was deposited in their account, they wouldn't look at that as a incorrect execution. They would think, oh, well, I did something right. Look, I made money. And that's the mindset you need to be here with. Because in November 2023, I'm going to turn you loose. And you'll be left to what you have collected in terms of experience, notes, what routine you've adopted. And you need to be really focusing on how to incur more income. Secondary stream, third streams income. Folks, we are in deep waters, not just in America, everywhere. It's going to get real hard. So your due diligence is required in this. And I saw another comment. This guy says, you always talk down to your students. No, I'm correcting those individuals that are out there trying to promote their understanding, which is lacking, and trying to create mentorships with something I just introduced. I just introduced something, and they're out there already whipping up mentorships. That's not the income stream that I was referring to. I understand that, I'm like the hot topic right now. I will fizzle out when I stop putting videos up and I'm not on Twitter anymore in November. It will happen. Somebody else will get real hot and everybody will clamor and follow them. And that's okay. I'm not here for the lifelong worshiping. I don't want any of that. But I want you to be mindful that when you are training yourself every day before you sit down and watch a video of mine, or sit down and listen to these types of discussions, which are all psychological. It's to prepare your mind. Okay. It's to prepare you with your mindset about what it is that you're doing, recalibrating yourself. You're not here to make me a celebrity. I don't want to be a celebrity. I don't want to be looked up to in high regard like some of you want me to be. I don't want that. You are here to learn how to make money. I have that ability to share with you how to find multiple ways of doing it in the marketplace. But most of you are trying to do that metal detector guy on the beach. He's looking for someone that lost some coins, or maybe they lost their wedding band. And how many times does he really find something like that? Probably not all that often. But he knows that what if he does? It pays for all the times they was out there plundering around through the sand. But in his mind, he's out there getting some sun. He loves what he's doing. He has submitted himself to the process. And if it happens that he finds something, well, that's all the better. But he enjoys doing what he's doing. Do you enjoy doing this? I saw a tweet this morning from a person saying, I hate this. I hate doing this. And I don't know if I should quit. The fact that you sat down and tweeted that, you have branded that on your soul. Your very spirit now has that very thing attached to it. And you have no idea the difficulty that you're going to have to work beyond that. When you vocalize, okay, because in the tongue there's power, okay, it's the power of giving life and taking life. Life and death is in the power of your tongue. I can say to you, you are one of my best students. You are so good at what you've done. You've done so well training and listening and following all the rules. And if I was to say that to you, you would feel empowered. Oh, it's awesome. ICT said that about me, man. It's great. I feel so good. Or if I sat down with one of you and said, look at you. You are a waste of a student. You've done nothing correctly. You've literally wasted your time and you don't do anything right. It's all your fault. So be miserable, stay in that state of mind. I don't want to waste my time on you. Wow. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. I don't talk to my students like that. What I do is I show them what they're doing incorrectly, so that way they can correct themselves. If you were off course in a ship, one small little degree off early on in your development or your course of departure, you're leaving your port of departure, heading towards some destination. If that ship is off 1 degree, just 1 degree over the course of your entire journey, you will not arrive on time. You might be able to calibrate later on in the middle of the journey when you discover that you're on the wrong path. But why would you want to do that? Keep your bearings. Know exactly where you're here, what you're here for, why you're here. It's to learn how to make money, how to read these charts, get that skill set. If you don't focus on that and let that be your number one driving reason for being here, you'll get distracted with other things. You won't be that diligent about your study. You'll let the drama, the pain, the discomfort of the process that everybody has to go through. You want it to be faster. And the more you want it to be faster, quicker for you to understand it, the longer it's going to be. Because you're wasting time and energy and effort worrying about how to speed it along instead of just going through the normal, everyday approach to going through it. There's only way to go through it is to go forward. That's it. There's no around shortcut. There's no faster way. There's nobody going to be able to condense this so that way you understand it correctly. The only thing they can talk about, they could be an echo. Take a small little sampling of something I've said, and it sounds amazing to the first time listener. They'll, oh, this is awesome. This is great. I understand it. I created it. but it's going to be short in their understanding, and they won't know when the best time to use that specific tool, that approach, that mindset. And they leave it to the audience to come with their own result. And they'll pony show that. And they'll say, look what I'm doing. I'm teaching. I'm making all my students profitable. When the only thing you've done is echoed. And you've done it in an incomplete manner. That's how I'm talking to my students that are quickly trying to go out there and create a name for themselves as a teacher. If that's what you want to do, get the experience, learn it properly. You aren't done learning yet. Everything I've taught, I still have things to talk about. None of my charter members are complete. They may have a model, they may have profitability, they may have no real need to come to me anymore. But if you're going to weigh out in the balances, do they know everything that I know or was willing to teach or that I already taught? No, none of them do. Not one of them do that. Because the ones that are profitable, they found what they were looking for while going through the process. And none of them have came back to me and said, what I came to you looking for and had in mind what I was going to learn, I learned it exactly, and it was exactly what I was expecting. They all said, I didn't even see this coming. And now this is what I trade, and I'm completely comfortable. Are you willing to be flexible like that? Because that's what's required. You have to have that flexibility, that ability to adapt. Because again, when you come to someone as a student, or you're not even a student yet, you come here with the expectation you're going to learn how to make money. That's great. Hold on to that. Hold on to that. Because if you don't have that, you'll quit. Because if you're here to just feel good, like it's some kind of club, some kind of a community that just keeps everybody hopped up on goofballs, feeling good. And I try to do that when it's appropriate. When we're expecting a certain market move to happen or a certain level get hit, I'll put some kind of a little bit of a spin on it, whether it be a meme or some kind of backhanded remark, just to create some emotional response, because that way it anchors it to you. You'll remember it because of that. Whereas if I just say it's going to go here, it goes there, and I never talk about it anymore, it just goes, you won't see that as something that is a milestone, which is important to see marked, logged, recorded in a journal, because you will encounter times when it feels like you can't do it. It feels like it won't make sense. You can come to me with this spirit of expectation and have the right mindset, saying, okay, I know nothing, I'm ready to learn. And then what happens is, because I have so many things to teach, I have so many approaches to going into the marketplace and finding setups. That was my weakness. I was afraid to enter the trades because I had no real understanding in 1992 what I was doing. So the entirety of 1993 and 94, I developed entry models because that's what I was fearful of. And I believed that I needed to be in every price swing. Every time something happened in the marketplace, I had to know why it did that. And because I'm obsessively compulsive, I poured all my energy and time into understanding what causes all these types of movements. And that's how I have 81 entry models. Do you need 81 of them? No. I didn't set out to have 81. I didn't set out to have a specific number. It just, this was the outcome. When I had to interview with Corbs, he's like, you've authored and created a lot of different approaches and things in the industry that now people are using. How many do you have? And I wish I wouldn't have said the number, because now what happens is everybody assumes that I'm going to teach all 81 of them. I'm not. And if you're thinking I'm going to put them in the books and that's the reason why you're going to buy the books, don't buy the books. Okay. I don't want you thinking that I'm going to tuck all that stuff in 3 books. I'm not. I'll talk about a few ones I haven't even taught my private mentorship group, because I want to leave an impression. I want my fingerprints known. So that way you'll look back through history and you'll see more of that. I haven't just been Inner Circle Trader. That's just the longest running name I've used on the internet. Admittedly, it's the most, well, recognized, but I want to put it down in November. I don't want to be ICT anymore. I just want to be Michael. And when I leave in November, I want you to feel empowered, not, oh, I feel like I'm disconnected. And I want you to know that everything I've taught thus far is more than enough. What have you done with it? See, when you come to me and you want to learn and you're in the right mindset and you start learning new things and new concepts and approaches and things that help fortify your understanding of price action, you get addicted to that. And I do my best to make it sticky. So that way you want to come back, because it's easy to talk yourself out of it in the beginning. It's easy. It's easy to say this is too hard. It's really too hard, too much effort. Why bother? Let me find someone that gives out signals. And to the gentleman that tweeted to me, do I give out signals? I wasn't making fun of you. I was just retweeting your tweet because I knew the community would come along and say, there is no better signal than the one that you're going to find on your own. And I'm teaching you how to do that. So when I do that, folks, it's not the tweet of shame. Okay, I'm not trying to throw somebody out there in the fields that way they're wolf packed and torn to shreds. So if you're mean spirited, don't do that. That's not what I'm doing it for. It's just to encourage them, so that way they can see that when they're part of this community with the proper mindset, you won't need signals. But I'm aware as a mentor, I'm a realist. There's going to be people that come to me with all the right intentions, even with the proper mindset. I will fail them as a mentor because of something I can't do. And I'm a human. I can't meet every expectation of every student that comes to me. I understand that. And I wish that I could get that reach to be able to get that person that I can't fully communicate the understanding that they're lacking. But I'm a realist. I know that I'm going to fail some of you. In that regard, I will. But it doesn't cancel the responsibility that you have. You have to make a real conscious effort to do this and stay motivated. And the way you stay motivated is, why are you doing it? Why are you here? Are you here because you've seen no evidence that these things work, or you've seen evidence that other people have even used the content and they're making real money? Chances are that's probably what's happening. I think I'm seeing the biggest growth because of that very thing. People are making money. They're attributing it to what they learned from me. And I'm so thankful and appreciative of that. It's all they're asked for. Because when they come here and they hear me, they can hear me say these words: I have been blessed. Whether you choose to believe in God or not, I know he exists. And you learned what he gave me. And I'm a firm believer, because I'm cheerfully giving it to you. He continuously blesses me, not only in this, but he blesses my life in other things as well. You don't have to go to church because you came to me as a student. I'm not saying that at all. But I want the opportunity for him to receive all the glory, all the praise, all the attention. I don't want that. If I wanted it, I'd stay around. I'm at the height, folks. If you think this is all about beating my chest and bragging, this is not bragging. Listen to what I'm about to say. I'm at the biggest I've ever been. And I'm sure I'll probably have more following come November. And I'm leaving. I'm canceling everything everybody's ever said about me. I'm not what everyone that doesn't like me or wants to tear me down. I'm not like that. I've never been that way. I actively do things, even in my personal time. When I first wake up in the morning, all of you are my first thoughts. Every single one of you, whether you're my private students or my public students, you're my first thought, even before my own children. My passion is in helping other people. My children are in my care. They're in my hands. I'm not worrying about them. But I'm worrying about you, the person that watches a video and thinks you understand everything because you watched the video at 2 times the speed without even taking notes and thinking, I'm going to go out there and do it with my live account. I don't want you to do that. I want you to learn it properly. And I want you to be absolutely bored to death that you know exactly what you're doing. That's how you know you're ready to trade. That's how you know it's good for you to go out there and try to get those funded accounts. It's good for you to then consider trading with real money because you know that you're not all hopped up. You're not excited about making the money. You're just, well, I'm ready. I mean, I can do it. I'm not scared. I'm not terribly excited that I'm going to be overconfident. This is the rule based idea I'm following. It seems to work a lot. It fails sometimes, but I'm able to come back from that. It doesn't knock the legs out from underneath me. It just means that I took a loss. And then I have to keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing and keep the losses minimized and let money management and trade management in the model I follow dictate the outcome. And don't put time limits on your success. I have to be this by that. No, you don't. Trust me. That date on the calendar, that time will come and you'll still be here breathing. The things around you will still be the way they are, even if you don't get there because that was a goal you set. Goals have to be flexible. They're time based, yes, but they're not in stone. They're just coordinates. I'm aiming for this destination. Well, your destination should be excellence. That's it. You should always be aiming for excellence. And you're going to find that you're going to have to calibrate yourself throughout the progress and process of getting to that destination. You're not going to get there overnight. Nobody, believe me, man, if there was somebody on this planet that was going to be able to do it overnight, I swear to God, I believed I was going to be it. Look at the level of accuracy that my skill set and concepts have given to other people and what I'm able to showcase. Before it happens, I explain to you what's going to happen. And I still can't be what I thought I was going to be when I first started. When I first started to really understand what I had in my hands. Because me as a human being, I wrestle with, I was going to reply this, this, not, I don't know if it's a guy or girl now that I think about it, but one of the guys follow me on Twitter. They mentioned like, how do you overcome, when you don't do it right or if you lose money, like how do you keep pressing forward? Well, it goes back to what you're doing, why you're doing it. See, I worked a lot of stupid jobs. And while we were driving down to Florida, I asked my wife, I said, when you were younger, how many jobs have you had? And she's like, I don't know. And we sat there and thought about, and her list was really, really short. I had like 27 jobs. 27 jobs as a young man. I bounced around like now some of them were like 1 or 2 days, but I was there, right? I was there. I did the job and I said, the hell with this. I ain't doing this. As soon as I got under the pressure of someone I knew was an idiot that did not know what they're doing, I couldn't be under them. I was like, you know what? I can't. This person has no idea what they're doing. They don't know how to manage people. They don't even know their own job. And if you're going to sign on to a job and they're not going to properly train you, what does that mean? You're going to be stressed out. And chances are they're probably going to get rid of you anyway because you aren't able to do the job that they can't train you to do properly anyway. So see ya. Well, in this endeavor, I tried to be the best manager. If you were to come to me as a student, I look at you as a college student. I'm the college itself. I'm the college professor. I'm the teacher. Okay. So I'm trying to fill all those seats, wear all those hats. And I'm trying to be as personable as I possibly can. I am giving you more time than any other person out there, whether they charge money or do it for free. Nobody is investing more into you than I am. Nobody is. I'm doing it more than you are. I believe in you more than you do. I know what you're doing incorrectly, and I know how to overcome that. But whether you're willing to listen to that good advice or not remains to be seen. And I have students that don't want to listen, and they stay exactly where they started when they first came here. And some of them get bent out of shape, and they blame their failure on me. And it's not accurate. You're just doing things incorrectly or not doing the things I'm told you to do, or doing it long enough. It took me 6 years. 6 years, folks. What if I would have said, all right, guys, my name's Michael Huddleston. I know how to trade these markets. I'm going to show you what to do. I'm going to prove it beforehand. I'm going to show you what it's going to do. Bada bing, bada boom. And then it said at the end of 30 days of calling it every single day correctly, and it did exactly what I was expecting it to do, say, okay, now who wants to sign up to learn how to do this? And it's going to take you 6 years. Right away. Oh, no, man, I got things to do. I'm sorry. There's a guy over on YouTube that's doing something in Discord for $30 a month. I'm going to go there. No. So the way I teach is I lay breadcrumbs down. I give you what I think is going to happen in the future. So I predict the future using tools and concepts that I've already taught. So that way you can see, does this resonate with you? Do you like the feeling of seeing us as a community look for the market to do a specific thing? And then when it comes to pass, how do you feel? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel like it's just luck? Do you feel like it is just another day at the job? It should be that, just another day at the job. When you go to work this coming week, for those of you who have jobs, do you feel like you need to go home and tell your friends and coworkers that you meet outside the workplace, or go online and say, I had the most amazing day at work? You have no idea. I processed so many accounts today. I was the head of everybody else. Look how many accounts I processed today. And I only lost one customer, but I got it back because I picked up a new customer over here. That's the same thing what everybody wants to do in trading. They want to go do their trades, go on social media and say, look at this trade I did over here. Look. I made this many pips. I made this many handles, this many points. Yeah, I got stopped out over here, but I got it back over here. I corrected my drawdown. Look at this. That's not the right mindset. You don't do it at your job. Why? Because nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what you did to earn your paycheck. They don't care. They only care what you drive, where you sleep, how you spend your money, what you dress like. Because they won't be content where they are in the skin they're in right now. They want to live a different life. So that's what everybody is pursuing. So that's the influence. Okay, that influencer, that factor. I have influencer factor within my name, my brand, who I am. I'm not promoting fast cars, fast life, everything else. I have lots of nice things. I have lots of money. I have lots of everything. I have freedom, all that business. I'm teaching you not to look at that stuff. Don't care about that stuff, because that is, well, short-term gratification. That's it, short-term gratification. That stuff doesn't make me happy. Doing this, helping all of you, I love that. I have $100,000 cars that sit most of the time. Most of you say, well, if I had a car like that, I'd be driving. No, you wouldn't. Not if you were doing what we're doing. You're going to be doing this. You're going to be looking for new things to explore, new experiences, not collecting things. Collecting things is a waste. It's more things to worry about. Think about it. Having a nice car, I don't ever like getting out of it and leaving it anywhere because people are just jerks. I've had my cars keyed up and I was parked away from everybody else. So you can't have nice things and not worry about them. And just because you can afford to replace them doesn't change the fact that you just don't want it tore up. So when you come here, you shouldn't be looking at me as a conduit to get you to that lifestyle so you can go out there and influence like that, because that's the most repulsive thing. I can't stand it. I've never been like that. Look at my cars, look at my house, look where I'm going on vacation, look what I'm wearing, look how much money I wasted on watches, or going into a Rolex store, then not buying a knockoff and saying, here's the Rolex I bought. And you didn't buy a real Rolex. And by the way, Rolex sucks. Sorry for hurt your feelings, but they are garbage. Patek Philippe. That's a watch. But I digress. When you come as a student, you fall sometimes into a trap of ever learning but never coming to your own model. And you're much like my daughter. My daughter, God bless her, she is a constant drain from my bank account. And I understand that you have to take care of your kids. I understand that. Okay. But she's coming up on 30 years old and she's the oldest of all my children. She's not biologically mine, but she has, I'm convinced, this fear of failing what she set out to do. And to combat that, she has become, and there's a point in this, so don't lose sight or get bored by this because this pertains to you. But because she's afraid to lose and fail, the things that she went to college for originally, she no longer pursued. It was always a constant changing in her major. So the only thing she's really obtained in all the years since high school is new classes and credits that are no longer going towards her original goal, which was to be a teacher. That's what she wanted to do. And we were all behind her, like, hey, it's great, you do it. And when she got into college, against my advice, I told her not to do it. And some of the things that I saw in her as a child and an early teen, I was correct in. She's very indecisive and she doesn't want to fail. Well, that's kind of like everybody when you're a teenager. But many of you probably still have those traits right now as a fledgling student in learning how to trade. And what will happen is what she's found herself in. She's constantly learning something new. Now, from her perspective, if you listen to her, she'll say, I'm doing this because I feel like this is where I should go. I should do this. But it's always changing. Every 3 months, she's changing course and changing direction. Now, imagine if you got on a cruise ship and you're supposed to go from the coast of California to Hawaii, like I'm hoping to do in the spring of next year. But there's always this change of course, and you never really get there. You know, you're going to be happy about that? No. You wanted to get to a specific destination, and our expectations in her as parents, we're scratching our head thinking like, what the hell's going on here? Like you've been in college, and you haven't even got your 4-year degree yet. You got an associate's, but then you keep changing your major. And this is my opinion, and I've only made this known to you now at this time, and my wife knows about it, but I wouldn't sit down with her and tell her this because the times I tried to do it, she clammed up and got mad and resentful towards me, and I just don't want to be a discouragement to her. So it's her life, let her live it like she wants to live it. But from an outside perspective, and also being her father, I'm thinking that she is providing a perfect excuse why she never has to experience potential failure. I think she knows in her heart of hearts she's not equipped to be a teacher. I don't believe she is. She doesn't want children. So how can you possibly be a good teacher if you are opposed to having children? Like, she just will never have children. We will never be grandparents because of her. So now how does that relate to you as a trader? And what does that even mean to you? Why you listen to this? When you come to me and you see all those videos and always something new coming from ICT, the people that don't like me or have a competitive uh, mindset, or they have something they're selling themselves. See, I'm constantly giving out fresh new ideas. They have one trick pony stuff, usually retail garbage. Okay. And this is the stuff when I start talking like this, it gets them all pissed off. And they want to make videos about me, talk about me, do tweets, take things, and they go on podcasts and interviews and they talk about me. I'm not talking about these yahoos, these losers. Okay. But they all have my name in their mouth. They're only doing that because I'm crushing them. I'm literally beating the fuck out of their sales. Because when people come here, they realize, why am I wasting my money buying on this stuff? And why am I worried about trying to get their opinion when this guy over here is calling it before it happens and he's doing it on Twitter right there before here it is. It's on YouTube. He's doing it in videos. He's saying this is exactly where it's going to go. It's going. Who are you going to spend money on when you see somebody doing that and then teaches you how to do that? Of course they're going to be mad. They're going to hate me. They're going to hate my ass. They're going to make up shit that ain't even true about me because they want you to not spend the time here. Because if you spend time with me, you're going to learn how to do this. But some of you will get caught up in this trap of constantly learning because you're afraid to sit down with one model, follow the rules, stick to that process, and let it yield whatever experience is intended for you. And then you have a baseline. That's why I could literally give out a model every single day. And some of you want me to do that. But the only thing it's going to do is like a dog in a meat market. You ain't going to know what to do. You're going to run around and you just chase everything instead of simply sitting down and saying, you know what? I'll just have a fillet. Thank you. And I've done that with the 2022 model. I've done that just recently with the silver bullet model. You don't have to have anything. I have lots more coming, but you don't have to have anything else. The optimal trade entry was enough. OTE pattern, the flagship that was on my YouTube channel. That's enough. The 2022 model, that's enough. You can use it in every session. London, New York, PM session in New York. You can use it in London close. You can trade it in Forex. You can trade it in futures. You can trade it in crypto. You can trade it in whatever the fuck you want to trade it in. It works. There's no excuse. You have zero excuse not to have some baseline by now. You should have some kind of experience to be able to say, you know what? This shit works. And I have to work on refining it, but I know it works because I've seen it in back testing, looking at where it has done this in the past. I tell you what time to look for these things to form. That way you're not just going around and looking at charts blindly. Go right to these specific times of the day. That's where it's going to form. For those people that go back in their old data and their old charts and they study that, they see it, they don't need me to do 50 examples of that. They don't need to see me do it live 50 times a week. They're sold on the idea. Okay, there's something here. It merits more investigation because I see the evidence of this thing occurring. It's not contrived. It's not conjectured. It's not made up. It's not fabricated. It's really happening every day. And once you see that, you don't need to have anybody else to cheerlead for you. You know, okay, there's something here. I'm going to mine that. So I give you just a few models so that way you go in and you now start working on the skill sets that are required. Not veering off course, hopping from one PD array, one approach, fair value gap, inversion, fair value gap, breakers, market maker models, buy, sell. There's 1,000 things out there that I teach. Every individual one of them is a model. Every single one of them is an individual model. But I give you, this is the best way to learn. I'm allowing you to pick your weapon. I've opened my arsenal doors. So here it is. Look what I have here. Pick your weapon. But nothing changes when it comes to time. Time of day, these things occur at specific times, certain days of the week, certain weeks of the month, certain month of the year. I'm allowing you to bring your personality, your personal influence, because you're the problem, and you're the last puzzle piece. See, some of you are sitting around here, you're writing diligent notes, you're doing this, you're doing that, and that's wonderful. But you're all waiting for that last penny to drop, the last ICT puzzle piece, and then it's all going to come together. It's all going to be crystal clear once he tells me this one PD, the 81 PD arrays, that the 81 final last one. That's it. That's it. That's the holy grail. No, it's not. If you walked over to your mirror right now, if you're driving, look in your rearview mirror, adjust it, look at yourself real quick. Not too long, you're driving. That's the final puzzle piece. And it's always been you. You're the reason why you succeed, and you're the reason why you haven't succeeded yet. And ultimately, you and you alone are the only reason why you're going to fail. That's not me talking down to you. That's me telling you the way it is. That's just the way it is. If you don't have a baseline, which is what the 2022 model will give you, that silver bullet and the optimal trade entry. If you don't have a baseline experience going through the motions of, okay, this is the time of day that markets should do these specific things. Well, what's that mean? London creates usually the high or low of the day. New York is usually a continuation, unless London was a consolidation, didn't do much. Then the reversal or higher low of the day will form in New York. Oh, there you go. There's one of those little things that I always tuck in when people are usually getting tired and bored. They turn the video off and turn the presentation off. They don't get that. But that's just the way it works. London close or the end of the AM session is usually, for Forex, the higher low of the day. The opposing higher low of the day. That's why I'm not a fan of trading Forex past 1 o'clock in New York local time. Does that mean no trading after that? No, it just means focus on index futures. But like my daughter, she is a professional student because she feels safe as a professional student. Are you a professional ICT student? Because if you are, you're not going to succeed. I'll say it again. Are you coming to me for a constant dose of something new, but have done nothing with what I've already given you? Then you're a professional student, and they don't pay professional students. You always had to pay out of pocket. Are you a professional procrastinator? Because that's the equivalent. You keep procrastinating. You have to put the sleeves up. You have to sit down, turn off all the distractions, social media, sports, weekend living, all that stuff. There's plenty of time to do that later, and you can be affording it better than right now. You don't have time for that.